Welcome back to reading the Refuge rulebook. Today we're on Chapter 4, Combat. I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs and then the first section of the pause game rule today. There's a lot of sections in the pause game rule, so we're going to be tackling those one at a time as they're each at least a paragraph or two on their own. Okay, so first, the first bit of combat. Simulated combat is a large part of Refuge Larp. It is important to understand how the combat system operates. This section will help you play safely and plan better for the skills you purchase. This section is important for grasping the fundamentals of our game system. Failing to follow any of the rules in the following sections could result in disciplinary action. The pause game rule. This is the single most important rule in this entire book. Many things can happen while players are on the field. If you see anything that appears to be unsafe, you can call a pause game. To do this, you shout the word pause game as loudly as you can, and everyone in the vicinity will drop to one knee. If dropping to a knee is unsafe or the player cannot, they must instead stay very still and alert. You probably also hear the call echo down the field, so everyone hears it. Please note, medic is an out-of-game call for help, so never say this in-game. Dropping to one knee ensures that combat and any movement occurring is paused exactly where it's at. Every player on pause is expected to remain in place on a knee or sitting and remain quiet for the duration of the pause game. You know what? I'm going to keep going. Reasons for a pause game to be called include unsafe conditions. If a player or players realize that they are backing into a copse of trees or thorny bushes, a pause game can be called to reposition the group into a spot that is slightly further away from the trees, giving the players a safer combat position. The same goes for moving towards buildings or something deemed a tripping or injury hazard. Effect resolution. This usually happens when a large group of players are attempting to kill the big bad, and the monster is being inundated with more calls than the cast member can process. At that point, a pause game will be called to make sure all the damage is deflected or captured appropriately before moving on with the battle. This kind of pause game is mostly prevented by making sure your calls are loud, clear, and you are taking your swings appropriately. Sometimes traps or special abilities might call for a pause game in order to resolve. Medical issues. Accidents do happen, like ankle damage, bee stings, etc. And this is absolutely a valid reason to call pause game. Once it is established by a second party, it's an actual medical need and not an in-game healing issue, medic should be called. And any one of our players or volunteers that is medically trained will come and address the issue. The pause game will last until the player and medic have decided it is safe for them to return to the game or be removed from the field. To end a pause. Once all issues are resolved, a marshal or otherwise appointed individual will loudly ask, is there any reason for this pause to continue? If there is no affirmative response, you will hear someone call you to return to your last position. Once it appears everything is back as it was, someone will loudly call 3, 2, 1, lay on. Gameplay then resumes as it was. We try to keep pauses as rare as possible as it can disrupt the game flow, but we know they are sometimes necessary, so please keep them to a minimum and only call them when they are truly needed. If you need simple rules clarifications during combat, there are other ways this can be addressed, and other players will happily assist. So yeah, pretty straightforward. As for the unsafe conditions, if it's only like you and one NPC, you don't need to call a pause game. So I usually just stop and go, whoa, hey, I'm about to trip over this bush. You're about to trip over that bush. Let's quickly move like 2 degrees to the right here so that you're not about to trip over something. Okay, good, let's go. You don't need to stop the entire combat just for that. But if it's a large group problem in a small area, then yeah, call a pause. The pause game rule is very important to learn. And if you have any questions, post them below in the comments, and I'll be happy to address them. That's all for now.